Johnny Blanding. How are you doing? Stephen, love your work, and I also wanted to say before, love all the videos that you post with the family, and seeing you and your daughter and your wife. I'm so glad you got to make it. It's so engaging. It lets us. You have such a great community.
Thanks, man.
I feel that we already know you, and so I just appreciate that.
Thank you.
I loved Code 8, and I tell everyone that hasn't seen it, it's like Breaking Bad meets superheroes, and there's a lot of depth, there's a lot of character, great actors. You just said that there's another one. Was it a union piece, and what were the struggles that you did to overcome any of that? Because I feel like that was a project I love.
Sorry, but before you said struggles, what did you say?
What struggles did you overcome with that? Was it a union piece or non-union? I know that you
just in terms of making it?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I'm not going to compare the two movies because in terms of scale, cultural relevance, where they're going to end up, I think a lot of the James Cameron movie Terminator, right? And what he got to do on Terminator 2 was everything that he wanted to do in Terminator, the original, but either from a standpoint of the technology didn't exist yet, or he didn't have the budget, he couldn't really do it. So Terminator 2, sure, it's a sequel, but it's more like the first Terminator is the prototype, and the second one is the finished product. It was a union production. We worked very closely with, any film was like a mini corporation, right? So you set up the mini corporation behind the film. We had our crowdfunding. We had something called Telefilm, which is grants that the Canadian government gives to Canadian projects with Canadian talent and Canadian directors, etc. It's called talent. It's such an ostentatious thing to say. But they give you, I think they can give you up to $3 million. They gave us $3 million. We paid them back. Apparently we're the first people ever to pay them back. Like, for the people they gave like $1,500 to. Yeah. We're like, here's your money back. And they're like, all right. So, it was union. We used Canadian casting directors, almost all of the actors. I don't actually know if we had an American actor on the show.
There was a lot of Handmaid's Tale crew, and that was right after the first season of Handmaid's Tale, and Handmaid's Tale had not been out yet.
Yep.
And obviously now it's a massive success, obviously.
So, but honestly, the biggest struggle was probably populating the crew, right? Because the actors they wanted to hop on board, but we had to have a lot of people really give us the benefit of the doubt and take chances on us because it's a crowdsourced movie. It's like, well, okay, but we're getting a ton of the crew back. She hasn't been announced yet, but our director of photography is different. But she is a Canadian, and she is a she, which is a bit too much of a boys' club last time. I was trying to get some women on the crew.
Yeah, it was crowdsourced. I read that it was the second most successful crowd-funded campaign ever.
Yeah, it was the most successful Canadian one.
Yeah. So that's all done by the fans. So if you kicked in, thanks. Thank you for your question. Next.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Bobby Blanding. I'm his twin. And so my question was more studio aligned. Do you have your own production studio? And if so, what are those types of struggles? And I'm asking from a perspective, we know that you filmed in Georgia a lot, and Georgia's obviously going to be East Coast Hollywood, unofficially named, but building a studio or interacting with other studios, what's that like? What are their goals now?
Well, I have Well-Fed Artist Productions, which I think technically is a production company that I started, and that's also the name of like my LLC, which is kind of boring stuff. But as a entrepreneur and we call it like I'm self-employed, essentially. So I'm interested in expanding Well-Fed Artist Productions, and I'm interested in the production side of things, the only issue that I have there is that I went from Arrow, and then filmed Turtles during one hiatus, did press for Turtles during the next hiatus, filmed Code 8 during the next hiatus, did press for Code 8 over the next hiatus, took a longer hiatus, Planet Earth took a hiatus, and then I went right into Heels. So I haven't really had much of a chance to grow and expand that, but that's something that I'm looking to do. I know that some contemporaries of mine and some good friends have signed overall production deals, be it with WBTV or Netflix or so I'm interested in that. It just hasn't really presented itself yet.
Seems like a great investment.